Hi guys, this is Abhishek. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will discuss about an unlikely punishment. Okay, it is an extract from Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo is a great French writer, and the novel centers on its main character, Jean Valjean. That means this chapter or this lesson surrounded to the Jean Valjean, who is imprisoned for stealing bread to feed his sister's hungry children. And this novel shows his long struggle how to create a simple life for himself after he is released from the prison. That means he is trying to live a happy life without any curse, without any bad work, but he was sometimes fails in that. In this extract, Jean Valjean spends a night at the bishop's house after coming out of the prison, and there this story starts from the house of the bishop. Okay, so Valjean awoke as the cathedral clock was striking 2. When it was 2 o'clock, then Valjean awoke at that time, and he was in a state of great mental perturbation. That means he was in the great anxiety. He was in an anxiety. Many thoughts occurred to him, but there was one in particular that constantly returned, overshadowing the rest. And there were many thoughts in his mind, and it was the main cause of that he wasn't taking good rest. It was the thought of the silver on the bishop's table, and what he was thinking about, the silver that was put on the bishop's table. Those silver knives and forks obsessed him. It means in his mind all the time he thought about the silver knives and forks that was on the table. There they were only a few yards away, and it was nearer to the man. They were solid pieces and would fetch at least 200 francs. And here he was thinking that if he sold it, then at least it would give him near about 200 francs coins. The ugly thought came and went, and at the same time, unaccountably, he was thinking of something entirely different. And what he was thinking, that was quite different, because he cannot explain it, and all the time his thought remained in his mind. One of his fellow prisoners had been a man named Brevet, who kept his trousers up with a single breast. The means here that now there were also a prisoner who is inside the prison with him, and his name was Brevet, and he kept his trouser up by using straps to support trouser, and the check design of that dress repeatedly occurred to him, and that was a kind of check design that the brace all the time again and again occurred to him. That means it was always happened in that situation. He got to his feet and stood listening. The house was quite silent. When he kept inside the room, then very closely he came nearer to the room and also stood there listening. If there were other persons at that place, but he reminded that now the house was quite silent. That means there were nobody in the house. He picked up his knapsack and got something out of it, and when he entered with a small bag and also got something out of it, and he took anything and came out of the room. It was a short iron bar, and what he had in his hand, there's a short iron bar, and it was very sharpened at its end. By daylight, it could have been seen to be an ordinary miner's spike. Overall, what he took in his hand, that was only a simple nail that was very sharpened at its point. Grasping it in his right hand and holding his breath, Valjean moved stealthily toward the door of the bishop's bedroom, and he took that sharpened iron bar and also take a breath. That means he was taking some relax because he was in hesitation. And after that, Valjean moved very silently towards the door of the bishop's bedroom. He found it ajar. That means he found that now the door was quietly open. Valjean moved on into the bedroom and cautiously forward, hearing from the far side of the room the quiet, steady breathing of the bishop. And when he was nearer to that room, then he noticed that bishop was taking relax. That means he was sleeping, and there were no sounds around the room. It means there is nobody, only the bishop is remained in the room, and he was taking relax. That means he didn't notice anything. For nearly half an hour, the sky had been darkened by cloud. That means near about half an hour, there were clouds in the sky. At the moment when Valjean stopped by the bed, the clouds were torn asunder and moonlight flooding through the tall window. And when the Valjean stopped nearer to the bedside of the bishop, then he found that now the sky was cleaning up, and moonlight also coming through the window, and also it fell upon the bishop's face. He was sleeping peacefully, and he noticed that now that bishop was sleeping very peacefully, very soundly. His face wore a look of serenity, and there were peace or calm on the face of the bishop, hope and beatitude, and there were also hope seems on his face, and there's a religious feeling of supreme blessedness on his face. Motionless in the shadow, grasping the spike in his hand, and sometime he felt that now he was in motionless because he wanted to hide himself from the bishop's notice, and he also took the spike in his hand. Valjean stood gazing in a kind of terror at the old man, because he was terrified that if he could caught, so that Jean Valjean stood there gazing the face of that old man, and he was in terror. All that clearly emerged from his attitude and expression was that he was in a state of strange indecision between death on the one hand and salvation on the other hand, ready to shatter that skull or kiss to that hand. It is very important line to you all. All that clearly emerged from his attitude and expression was that. And what's the thinking? What's the feeling in the mind of that Jean Valjean? He was in confusion. He thought that if he could kill that person, or if he leave that person and kiss his hand or head, that means he cannot at that time, he could not explain that the feeling of that was running inside his mind. He was in confusion. He cannot explain that if he killed that person, that will be the death of that person, and if he took the path of the salvation, that's why he could leave that person and also kiss that person. That means to love that face, because it was full of the gravity, it was full of the attraction, and there were also a religious feeling of supreme blessedness on his face, so that he dared not to kill that person, to kill that bishop. Valjean suddenly moved to the cupboard. The first thing he saw when he opened the door was the basket of silver, and when he entered towards the cupboard, and also there he found that now the door was opened, and there was also a basket of silver in that cupboard. Abdiel crossed the room with long strides, re-entered the oratory, picked up his stick, opened the window, climbed over the sill, emptied the silver into his knapsack, threw away the basket and scrambled like a great cat over the wall to his heels. And after that basket of silver very silently, he crossed the room by taking the long steps, and also he re-entered the oratory, that was a room used for private prayer, and also picked his stick, then opened the window and climbed over the sill, and also emptied taken a bag the silver into his knapsack, and also threw that basket, that was emptied basket. Scrambling, he went away from there like a wild cat, like a cunning cat, and he took his long steps and ran away from that place. At sunrise, Monsignor Winbenu was in his garden, and Maglory came running out to him in great agitation. That means here it was the time, it was the morning time duration, and the Monsignor. Monsignor is a title that is used to address a French prince or a clergyman. Here, Monsignor is a clergyman named Winbenu, and he was in the garden, and there Maglory also came running towards him in very excitement. Monsignor, do you know where the silver basket is? She asked to Monsignor if he knew where the silver basket was. And after that, the bishop replied in positive. That means he replied, yes, he knew all about that. Thank the Lord, I couldn't think what had happened to it. And after that, Ma'am Maglory replied that she could not think what happened with it, and also she blessed to the God. The bishop had just retrieved the basket from one of the flower beds. He handed it to her, saying, here you are. And after that, the bishop had just retrieved the basket from one of the flower bed, because it was thrown to the garden, so that he took out that empty basket and also handed it to her, and told, here it was, but it's empty. She explained where the silver. And after that, when Maglory found that it was empty, then he was excited and asked where the silver was. So it's the silver you are worrying about, said the bishop, because bishop was a very religious person, so that there was no mean of the silver or any possession of the world. So he also asked her, now it was the main cause of your worry about that. He asked so to the Ma'am Maglory. And after that, I can't tell you where that is. And he replied that he couldn't know where it was gone or where it was now. Heaven save us, it has been stolen, that man who came last night. And also the question was this, that now who took that silver? Then the reply is that it was taken back from that person who stayed at night in his house. Ma'am Maglory ran into the oratory, peered into the alcove, and came running back to her master, who was now bending sadly over a chocolaria that had been damaged by the basket when it fell. Now Ma'am Maglory was in the bad condition, and she was feeling bad because silver was taken by that person. But at the question, she peered into that the room that was built towards the back. And after that, he came running back to her master, and who was now bending sadly over a plant, over a herbs that had been damaged by the basket when it fell. That means it was thrown to that herb, so that that herb or that plant was now not in a good condition, it was damaged. Monsignor, the man's gone, the silver has been stolen. And after that, Maglory told to the Monsignor that now the man has taken or stolen to that silver. The bishop, after a moment's pause, turned his grave eyes on her and said gently, and after that, The bishop paused for a moment and also looked towards that lady with the gentle eyes. And after that, in the first place, was it really ours? Then he asked to that lady, even this silver is with us. This silver was with us, but it wasn't ours. Ma'am Maglory stood dumbfounded. After a further silence, the bishop went on. And when Ma'am Maglory heard all about this, he was stunned at that time. He stood silently. After that, the bishop asked again, told again, and also broke the silence. I think I was wrong to keep it so long. It belonged to the poor, and what was that man if not one of them? And after that, as a bishop was a religious man, he couldn't think about the worldly possession, so that there was no mean of the silver. So he replied that now that was not theirs, it belongs to that poor person. At Bishop's response, Ma'am Maglory thought that, and also told that because Monsignor, that means the bishop, used to feed himself by those silver forks, but now Ma'am Maglory told that now how it would be possible to use those silvers now, how Monsignor could eat with those silvers, because now it was no more, it was taken a back. He looked at her in astonishment. There is always future. Yusuf looked at the lady with the astonishment, with the surprise, and after that he told to her that he could also feed himself by using pewter. Pewter, it's a grey metal made by mixing tin with lead. Then that ma'am replied that now it smells bad. So after that, the Monsignor replied that he could use wooden forks and spoon also to feed himself. A few minutes later, he was breakfasting at the table where Jean Valjean had sat the night before, and remarking cheerfully to his sister and Ma'am Maglory that no spoon or fork, even wooden ones, was needed for dipping bread into a bowl of milk. And it was the meal time duration. They were taking their breakfast at the time where Jean Valjean, before the night, who had taken that silver, he also stayed that and also enjoyed. Then it was the breakfast time duration, so that Ma'am Maglory thought that there were no spoons or no forks, only what he had, only he or she had wooden forks or spoons. But there was a need to dip those spoons or those forks into the bowl of milk. And when the bishop's family, brother and sister, all were taken their meal, and then they stood up from that table. Then they heard that now there was a knock sound that was coming to the door. At this, bishop called them. Now, who were on that door? Now come inside the room. Door opened to disclose a dramatic group. Oh, wow! It's a very fantastic. There was a turn in the story, and it was a kind of dramatic situation. Three men were holding a fourth by the arms and neck. There were three men at the door, and they were caught hold a fourth person by the neck. The three were gendarmes, three were the French policeman's force, the fourth was Jean Valjean, and now the fourth, Jean Valjean, who stayed at the bishop's house and taken back the silvers. A sergeant of gendarmes entered the room and saluted. sergeant in that French police officer got entered the room and also saluted to the Monseigneur, and after that he told to the Monseigneur. At this, Valjean raised his head in stupefaction. Jean Valjean was shocked to speak. That means he was too shocked to speak to the Monseigneur. Monseigneur, he repeated, he isn't the cure. That means that Jean Valjean repeated his words again and again to calling the Monseigneur name, and he isn't the cure now. He isn't a district priest in the France. Silence, said one of the gentlemen. This is his lordship the bishop. And when Jean Valjean was trying to say something, at this the French policeman, one of the French policemen, told, now keep quiet, because this is not the ordinary person, this is the lordship of the bishop. This is lord of the bishop. He was a religious person, so that you couldn't dare to speak towards him. Monseigneur was meanwhile coming towards them as rapidly as his age allowed, and here Monseigneur Bienvenu was too old to walk, so that he could not took his long steps, and so that he was in a low step, and he was coming towards them. So here you are, he cried to Valjean, and when he saw there was Jean Valjean, then he cried out that, I am delighted to see you. Have you forgotten that I gave you the candlestick as well? Here the bishop told not only to the Jean Valjean, also to the policeman. He was creating a dramatic mood. That means he was telling a lie to save the life of Jean Valjean. And also told that he had given those candlesticks to Jean Valjean by himself. They are worth a good 200 francs, and it would be helpful to the Jean Valjean to sell it, and also get near about 200 francs coins. Did you forget to take them at this? Bishop also asked that if he had forgotten to take those candlesticks. Monseigneur, said the sergeant, do I understand that this man was telling the truth? When we saw him, he seemed to be on the run. We found his silver in his knapsack, and the French policemen were very astonished at this, and the sergeant asked the Monseigneur if he had given those silver candlesticks to Jean Valjean, then it was their faults, because they caught hold to that person. But when they saw Jean Valjean was about to run, so that they had caught Jean Valjean, and they also searched that. Now in his hand there was a bag, and in that bag there were silver candlesticks. And he told you, said the bishop smiling, that it had been given to him by an old priest with whom he stopped the night. And he also told to the French policeman that when they asked to Jean Valjean from where you'd got that, it seemed that Jean Valjean replied that it was given by the old priest with whom he stayed last night. I can see how it was you felt bound to bring him here, but you are mistaken. And if you caught hold of Jean Valjean, it was your mistake. It was said by the bishop. After hearing from the bishop's words, the French policemen were astounded, and also asked to the bishop now if he wasn't a thief, if he wasn't a robber, then we needed to let him go. At this, Bishop responded that now certainly you had to leave that innocent person, although he wasn't innocent, but here Bishop wanted to save the life of the Jean Valjean. The gendarmes released Valjean, and when the French policeman heard all about that was told by the bishop that Jean Valjean was innocent. At this, they released Valjean. But this time said the bishop, "You must not forget your candlestick." And after that, Bishop told to the Jean Valjean now to take your candlestick and not to forget about this to take. He fetched them from the mantelpiece and handed them to Valjean. And after that, Bishop got hold a shelf above the fireplace and also handed it to the Jean Valjean. And now, said the bishop, "Go in peace." He turned to the gendarmes, "Thank you, gentlemen." And then bishop told, now you could go in peace." He turned to the gendarmes. That means here Jean Valjean turned to the gendarmes, and after that here the bishop replied that to the policeman, "Now as you caught hold the person, it was your mistake, but thanks for your support." The gendarmes withdrew, and after that those French policemen went back from that place. Valjean stayed motionless as though he were on the verge of collapse, and there were no words to tell, because Valjean now he was not innocent, so that he stayed at that place motionless. He wasn't active, and after that as he was going to collapse, he felt himself that he was senseless. The bishop came up to him and said in a low voice, and bishop noticed all about that. Now he was feeling cursed, so that bishop went nearer to Valjean and also said some words in his ear. Do not ever forget that you have promised me to use the money to make yourself an honest man. And also he suggested to Jean Valjean not to misuse the money. That means with the help of the money, you will be a honest man in your life. Valjean, who did not recall having made any promise, was silent, because Valjean did not made any promise to the bishop, so that he kept silent at this response. The bishop had spoken the word slowly and deliberately, and here bishop deliberately, knowingly, he spoke those words to him. He concluded with solemn emphasis. That means he concluded with the very seriously, "Jean Valjean, my brother, you no longer belong to what is evil, but what to good." And he also suggested to Jean Valjean that, and also called him his brother. He suggested that now in your future only you would do good works, not to the bad works. You would leave all the evil personality. Now you would be a good person. I have bought your soul to save it from black thoughts and the spirits of perdition, and I give it to God. And after that bishop told him very powerful lines, and it was a very powerful lines. He told to the Jean Valjean, now he bought his soul, and also he saved his life from the evil. And now as he had become a good spirit, all the evil things bishop would give to the god, handed over to the god, so that Jin Viljin could live his remained life in peace, and also with the good thoughts, and also with the good works, and also with the good condition. Okay, if you liked this video, then like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel, so that you get a fine notifications for the next videos. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice day.